get comments, monkey emojis on the comments and that.
If there was like a financial reward for wiping out racism, how quickly would it be wiped out? Like, you effing N-word. And just thrown the ball at me and ran off.
Why isn't it the same reaction when people are getting racially abused?
I'm starting to hear like a bit of monkey chanting from like quite a large section of the fans.
He's sent Instagram a racial complaint and they're saying it doesn't affect their guidelines. What's your guidelines then?
And shock horror. Did you ever do anything about it? It was never, ever, ever spoken of ever again. Ever again.
So easy now, like, to racially abuse someone online, like, and not give a damn about it.
Yeah. How have you got so much hate in your heart at 11 years of age?
And he's got the confidence to say it to you,
you know
as well.
What I mean?
Like,
it's done absolutely nothing. They're going to go home, they're going to make another fake account, and they're going to do it again.
The fact that it's gone to that stage where you can just say things and do things and know like nothing really is going to happen. It's just it's just mind blowing, like how that can even be a thing.
I think that's the first time I've kind of been on a football pitch playing a game and felt so alone.
Yeah.
So alone. Like it was just me. They act like they want to know and they act like they want to stamp it out, but
100%.
they don't. If it doesn't require money, if it doesn't bring them money or fill their pockets, it doesn't seem to me like they're interested. Wow, like imagine if we had that same,
sort of backing,
that same energy, you know what I mean, with racism.
Now we never know when we're doing it sometimes.
Now,
you go to start the game, are we kneeling or not? Yeah, we'll kneel, cool.
Yeah, you play some games, we do, some games we don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's definitely 100% lost its purpose. Experience racism in like playing games and stuff, like fans or anything like that?
No, not ever, you know. No one's ever really called me this or that, really, sort of thing. Like, and the thing is, I get in altercations quite a lot with players as well.
Yeah.
But like, no one's really put it out there yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it is difficult when, like, you know, like playing a game, you're so like caught in a moment, like
it can just come out.
Like, no, in terms of like hearing that kind of stuff. Like, I can imagine it would, unless it's like blatant, like it would be difficult to hear.
Have you?
Yeah, there was one experience I had, and to be fair, I really regret the way that I handled it. Like looking back at it with like how everything's going now, like how open everyone is about the topic and the voice that people have at the moment in outing situations like that. At the time I didn't, and I was advised not to, but we played it was an under-21s Euro qualifier for Scotland against Macedonia, and it was a nothing game for us. We couldn't qualify, but Macedonia, I think it was their first major championship that they could qualify for at any level. So they sold out that day. I think they sold it out anyway, but the stadium was packed, their national stadium, and they had to win to qualify. And playing for Scotland, I was the only player of colour in my team, and obviously playing against Macedonia, there was no players of colour in their team. And playing the game, now we've got into the second half, and I'm starting to hear like a bit of monkey chanting from like quite a large section of the fans. And immediately you kind of just, for me, it was just like, I just felt like, oh my God, like I must stick out like a sore thumb, like having like such a large amount of people single you out as an individual amongst, you know, one team of 11, my set of 11, and it's just me that's being singled out because of the colour of my skin. I think it was a very, very horrible feeling. And there was one time in that game, obviously the monkey chanting is like stopping and starting and whatnot, and there was a couple of teammates at the time that heard it as well. For me, I don't know how you couldn't hear it. For me, it was hard to miss, like with such a like a large quantity of people. But there was one point in the game where one of the players had tried to take me down the line, and I've made a tackle, but it's come off him, so it was our throw-in, and I've gone to get the ball from the ball boy, and the ball boy couldn't have been any older than like 11, 12, I would say. Like he looked so young, and he's got the ball. I'm waiting for him to throw it to me. And he's gone like, you effing N-word, and he's thrown the ball at me and ran off. And I stood there for quite a while looking at this little boy thinking, oh my God, like, who's taught you that?
Yeah.
Like, how have you got so much hate in your heart at 11 years of age?
And he's got the confidence to say it to you,
you
as
know
well.
What I mean? Like, that for me, and that was just like, whoa. And I had to get through the rest of that game with all of that stuff going on. And yeah, after the game, obviously I've reported it to my manager at the time. Everyone in the dressing room was outraged at the end of the game. And they said that they were going to report it to UEFA. And we've got on the coach now, and I've decided to make a tweet. Basically like, oh, like disappointed with the result, the typical stuff. This was back when I was on Twitter anyway. And I made a tweet. The tweet was up for like maybe 30 minutes, and it was getting like a lot of likes and retweets. Like it reached like quite a lot of people at the time. And then we've got to the airport now to fly back to the UK, and a member of staff for the Scottish FA basically said to me, look, like, you're going to have to delete that tweet, because, you know, we don't want, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of like, we don't want to like attract like any negative responses basically, and we're just going to have to kind of just leave it to UEFA to deal with. And at the time, I think I was 19, playing for the 21s at the time, and obviously I was a kid, so I thought, oh, like, you know, like if I don't delete it, I'm going to get in trouble. I was well within my rights to just keep it and just say, look, I'm going to keep the tweet out there. This is my voice, this is my opinion. I'm not saying anything that's not true, which I regret. I should have said, you know what, I'm leaving it there. Like, it's out of order. What I've experienced tonight, I don't want to experience again. But I took his advice. I deleted it, and shock horror, did UEFA do anything about it? It was never, ever, ever spoken of ever again, ever again. And that's one of my biggest regrets, really, on the topic of racism, because you've got such a large number of people that think it's okay to turn up to matches and abuse people for the colour of their skin.
No, yeah,
you know what I mean?
I like how the reactions recently have changed now from what happens when you get racially abused in games. Like, people stop playing, things like that. Like, all of that is starting to happen, which is a lot better. Like, obviously back then, that you wouldn't be able to stop playing that.
That's another thing. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the only player of colour on my team, on the whole pitch. If I walk off, would my teammates respect that? Is that disrespectful to my teammates? Would they stand with me? Would they not? Do they understand? They've never experienced that themselves before. So what do I do? You know what I mean? So you get, for me, I was put in a position where it was like, you know, I think that's the first time I've kind of been on a football pitch playing a game and felt so alone. Yeah. So alone. Like, it was just me against everyone else. So yeah, it's not a nice feeling. And with that sense, I can relate to a lot of players that when they get racially abused on the pitch, you know, I've had a lot of discussions with people on the topic of like what you should do, what you shouldn't do. A lot of people say, "I'll just get on with it," but until it's you in that situation, you don't know how it feels. Even for fans, like messaging players and stuff, when you're talking about repercussions, now they're starting to. At the start, they're saying there's no way to trace where the messages have been sent from. Yeah. Now they're finding ways to kind of trace it, and they're even finding the culprits, but they're getting arrested, they're getting brought in for questioning, and then they're just getting let go to go home. And it's like, well, what was the point? You've brought them in, you've questioned them, they've said it wasn't them, you've got no evidence really, like, and sent them on their way, but what's that done? Like, it's done absolutely nothing. They're going to go home, they're going to make another fake account, and they're going to do it again. Yeah, 100%, because it's so easy now, like, to racially abuse someone online, like, and not give a damn about it. Yeah. My friend Peter Curso, he went on Instagram Live when they stayed up with Luton. Good vibes on the Instagram Live. They're all dancing and that. Get comments, monkey emojis on the comments and that. And it's just like, that has nothing. That person knows there's a couple hundred views watching that live, and he knows his comment's going to be seen. He doesn't give a toss. Do you get me? So like, the fact that it's gone to that stage where you can just say things and do things and know like nothing really is going to happen. It's just
it's just mind blowing, like how that can even be a thing.
Yeah, and people say, oh, like it's only a message, like what's it doing? But if I got a personal message from someone racially abusing me, like that would make me feel very similar to the moment where I played in that game and I was getting singled out by thousands of fans. Do you know what I mean? It's pointing out that someone sees the difference in you compared to others, and there should be no difference. You know what I mean? We're all humans. We're all the same. Do you know what I mean? As I said before, like I've never looked at someone else and seen anything else but the individual that's standing in front of me. I don't judge someone on the colour of their skin, or if I have an altercation with someone that I might not like, and we have a heated argument. The last thing, and it wouldn't even be the last thing to come to my mind, would be to bring up the colour of their skin or the differences in appearance. Like it really baffles me, and I think a lot of that comes down to, for me, education and upbringing. For me, that needs to be for me compulsory in schools and things
from
like that.
Early primary
it's
school.
Taught, I believe it's taught behaviour. That 11-year-old boy that threw the ball to me in that Euro Championship game, he hasn't just come up with that himself.
He's heard that at home, 100%.
He's heard that at home. He's heard it wherever he's heard it. But that's learned behaviour. So I think there's a lot more that needs to be done in schools and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because in school, what do you learn about when it's Black History? You learn about slavery and all the negative stuff. What about all the positive people? Do you know what I mean? All the greats that have done like spectacular things and achieved so much in whatever sector they're working in. Like why don't we learn a lot more about that? Do you know what I mean? And so I don't know. There's a lot more that needs to be done. You got so many black managers that are heavily qualified for jobs that should be able to walk in. Even myself, I worked with Sol Campbell at Macclesfield, and it's like, what am I doing at Macclesfield in League 2, fighting relegation with Sol Campbell as my manager, who was part of the Invincible squad, who's won the Premier League. He scored in the Champions League final. And then you've got managers like, at the time it would have been Frank Lampard, who went into the Derby job, Steven Gerrard with the Rangers job, even now Wayne Rooney as like temporary manager. Is he temporary or has he got the job permanently? Full time now at Derby. And it's like, these are all players that have all achieved great things. Yeah. Why has Sol Campbell ended up?
And do you know what as well? You know, with the Tottenham job, Ledley King, he was part of the backroom staff, whatever.
He's available. He's there. He's part of the club. He's been doing his coaches in the youth team. Yeah. Obviously, he was beside Mourinho this season as well.
And
so for me,
he didn't get the job in it. That's what I'm thinking.
I see that was a clear and obvious appointment to make.
Yeah.
Ledley King, club legend, fans absolutely love him. If it wasn't
had a thorough career in the Prem.
If it wasn't for his knee, he would have reached the pinnacle of football, I believe.
100%. So he's seen it all. He's been there, and he didn't get that. It's just a temporary job sort of thing, and he didn't get it. It's just thinking, like, why is that? Obviously, you've given it to someone. Obviously, I don't know what the ins and outs with that is, but
obviously we don't know that there might actually be logical reasons behind it. But for me, the clear and obvious appointment would be
from outside looking in.
Would be Ledley King.
The jerk, absolute jerk in my opinion. Why is he getting match banned for speaking up?
That was the opportunity for
them to make a stand.
For them to make a stand and show that there's zero tolerance for racism, especially in a time where, like, thankfully it's such an openly spoken topic. You know, there's so many people that are out like speaking openly about it. For them to come out after that incident and just like give like a slap on the wrist, and obviously to punish Glenn Kamara
for getting racially abused, which doesn't make sense.
It's mind-boggling for me. I don't understand it.
With the Super League, they're so quick to shut it down just like that. I'm seeing tweets, I'm seeing the world going upside down because of it. Why wasn't it this? Why isn't it the same reaction when people are getting racially abused?
The other day I was listening to Talksport, and I was listening to fans like call in and discuss like the level of anger that they're feeling about their clubs, like considering leaving the Premier League, and how they're willing to disown their clubs and stuff like that. And the passion I'm hearing in these people's voices over this was like, wow, like imagine if we had that same,
sort of backing,
that same energy, you know what I mean, with racism, you know. And someone made a point the other day, I was reading it somewhere, if there was like a financial reward for wiping out racism, how quickly would it be wiped out? If there was money involved, if there was money to be made with wiping out racism, how long would it last? I can't see it lasting long. I couldn't see it lasting long in football anyway. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't see it lasting.
For me, it seems like stuff needs to happen to someone. Someone needs to be a victim of something for people to now open their eyes. So obviously, what, a year ago from now, when all the Black Lives Matter things started happening, it needed to take all them things happening in America for people to speak out.
Yeah, that's another thing with it
needed to get to its worst stage for things to happen.
And it's like, when that whole thing happened, and it was like, oh my God, like I can't believe that like someone could do that. He's killed like an innocent man, like live on camera. Like that's been happening a very long time.
Very long time.
A very long time. But it's only because we're fortunate enough now to have like camera phones and social media that spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
Like, and think of how many years, how much people that's actually happened to that haven't got the justice. But it's because of the stereotype. You could be going about your business. You could be a hard-working man or woman even, and find yourself in a situation where you're having an altercation. Obviously, in America, it's a lot more. It's a lot more common than here.
No, yeah, the stereotyping is.
You'd be going about your daily business and find yourself in a situation where your life could be on the line if you don't respond in the right manner in a situation. You give a little bit of attitude, or you know what I mean, which you know, it's normal. If you're innocent, you've done nothing wrong, you don't feel like there was a reason for you to be pulled over, you're going to be a bit disgruntled naturally. It doesn't matter who you are.
I don't think the kneeling is working.
For me, the kneeling has lost its purpose.
100%.
I feel it's definitely lost its purpose. I feel like, you know, now it's more a token gesture. At the start, it was something. You know what I mean? It was like a building block.
Now we never know when we're doing it sometimes.
Now,
you go to start the game, are we kneeling or not? Yeah, we'll kneel, cool.
Yeah. You play some games, we do, some games we don't.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's definitely 100% lost its purpose.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, you may have people that may not even agree with it, that are doing it because
they've got to really,
do
yeah.
it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think there's any need in that anymore. For me, I do feel it's lost its purpose. I was watching something on Wilfred Zaha. I don't know if you've seen it.
The On the Judy
podcast, and he was saying the same thing. He said he feels like it's degrading in a sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having to get down on your knee.
Yeah.
To show that you exist.
Oh, equal,
and you have rights, equal rights to anybody else. It is degrading when I was listening to that, I was thinking, you know what, it's actually right. And he turned around and said that he's gonna make a stand.
Like bigger things need to happen. Like this, the way people's reactions was for the Super League.
Yeah.
Oh, people boycotting games, all of that. Like big things like that need to happen. Not kneeling down or posting blackout Tuesday, stuff like that. Do you get me? It's not the same.
It's not going to do anything. So, and even Anthony, he made a point regarding, you know, if you post something on Instagram, you know, if you post something on Instagram and you're playing a song as a background tune and it's got like copyright and stuff, it's Instagram or Twitter, they're very quick to remove it immediately. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
why can that not happen with racist messages online? That was a very good point. I don't understand. They're so quick when it's a copyright issue or anything like that. They're so quick.
As long as it don't affect them,
again,
they don't care.
That's money though.
100%. Yeah.
That's coming down to money again.
Because it's affecting them.
Yeah.
Us getting DM'd, calling us black this, black that.
If it's not a financial gain, in my humble opinion, nobody wants to know. They act like they want to know, and they act like they want to stamp it out, but 100%. They don't. If it doesn't require money, if it doesn't bring them money or fill their pockets, it doesn't seem to me like they're interested. He's
sent Instagram a racial complaint and they're saying it doesn't affect their guidelines. What's your guidelines then? Does it need to be spelled out? Do you know what I mean?
It needs to be spelled correctly.
Is emoji not enough?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I don't get it. I haven't had any direct messages to me personally being racially abused, but that doesn't make me feel happy or comfortable because I know someone is one click away from sending me that same message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even though it hasn't happened to me,
they're thinking it in their head. They're just not going to say it to you.
There's nothing stopping anyone doing that. So you know, I feel like it is difficult. Racial abuse aside, it is difficult playing football in this day and age because even things like just negative comments on social media and stuff, which is normal. We're all professional footballers. You know, if you have a bad game, I'm not one for looking at comments. I would rather not, because you have 10 good games in a row, and then you have one bad game, and then the majority are happy to turn around and say, he's this, he's that. It is what it is. It's a sport. I don't mind that. You know what it is. You know what I mean. It's criticism. It's sport. You get judged on performance, but when it gets brought into the context of racism, and people are pointing out things like the color of your skin or making remarks to make you feel not even human, comparing you to animals.
No,
that's out of line 100%. I don't see how. I can't fathom how that even enters someone's head, because I've never looked at someone else and judged them on the color of their skin or where they come from.
But 100%
never.
Literally going to what you just said about being judged on where you're from or whatever. At the start of the season, probably like last season, when you ask my nationality, what nationality I want to be down for or whatever, I put Nigeria. So obviously that's my nationality where everyone sees where I'm from or whatever. So obviously on the booklet it says everyone's flag near their names. You just see England, Then you see me like Nigerian flag. So my mum was like, why'd you put Nigerian flag? Well, she's from Nigeria as well. She was like, why'd you put Nigerian flag? I was like, yeah, like I wanted to put that. She was like, like my dad as well was like, like I think it would have been better if you put England flag for when people are watching, scouts. It looks better if you're from England. Might help you. Let's say get a better perception of you. I was like, see, like that shouldn't be the case. So if I put Nigeria flag or England flag, that shouldn't mean anything. Like, do you get what I mean? But realistically, that might give me a little edge if I put English flag. It looks like I'm homegrown, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and I do feel that. I do feel like when you've got like English talent playing on live TV, for example, I do feel like if you are eligible for the England national teams and stuff, you are kind of like, I don't know, spoken about a lot more highly
100%
than you are if you're not. You know what I mean? I do feel there's a bias with that.
And that basically makes us like, realistically, like if you got an England call up, you'd probably rather England call up because that gives you that edge. Do you get me? You look that probably a bit better. Do you get what I mean? Like it just gives you that edge. Rather if I pick Nigeria, do you get me? You could get looked at in two different. Your value might even be higher because you're England international than a Nigerian international. But that's just how it is. I guess you get a bit more respect.
At that point, that shouldn't make any difference. If someone's coming, to watch you play, for your parents to feel that way,
100%.
They're not feeling that way for no reason.
No reason.
You know what I mean?
They probably want me to be looked at as British. You know what I mean? Because obviously they just want what's best for me, and obviously
they want people to be in
the best possible light. Yeah, 100%. And they're assuming that me with the English flag will give me that, which shouldn't be the case. So this guy's sort of subtle racism is the one that I've experienced more. Do you get me? Like, sort of like, so in school, I was in year 11. Obviously I got we had like a large group of friends, were all black. My school was like, there was a lot of black kids, and obviously all my friends were all black. There's probably like 8 of us always walking around and that. And the school used to always, they used to send letters, call my parents and say gang mentality sort of thing, because obviously we'd walk in a large group, but there was only 8 of us, just 8 black guys just walking around in school. Obviously they classed that as gang mentality. Like, I remember they sent letters to my house. I had meetings with them saying like, yeah, you need to stop walking around in large groups. Like, you're making teachers feel intimidated and that, making like people feel intimidated. And obviously at the time, obviously my friends they were quite big at the time, big black guys. And I remember, so like I ended up getting excluded because of it, sort of thing. So like they were warning us, oh, like, stop walking around in large groups. And obviously like we didn't stop. Like, we're a group of friends and we're gonna chill together at breaks or lunchtime or whatever. And then obviously it kept happening, and then they ended up excluding me for it. But it was weird. So like I think they knew what they'd done was wrong, because they classed it as, they said they weren't gonna go on my record. They were like, oh, early study leave. So like, are you excluding me or you're not? Like, if you're excluding me for doing something wrong, exclude me then. Do you get what I mean? But I think because they knew like there wasn't really a reason to exclude me, they classed it as early study leave, and I didn't come in. I wasn't, and it was all of us. Like, there was like 6 of us, 6 black guys. They all gave us the same reason and that.
That's a problem. That's what I don't see. I don't see how or why that's seen as an issue. Do you know what I mean? Like a group of people that look similar. What's the problem? I feel like because we come under the minority, it's maybe not as common to see black people together like that. It stands out more.
Intimidating. Do you get what I mean? Like,
because how often do you see like a group of white friends together?
All the time, innit?
You know what I mean? All of the time, and you don't bat an eye at it, because it's just normal. You see it all the time.
And they're probably assuming, all right, group of these guys. I remember like teachers used to start following us and that. So we're just walking around, and then all of a sudden, like, we see like teachers following us, like one teacher with his mic in or whatever. They think, why these are about to do something.
Why is the first thing that comes to mind when you see a group of colour or an individual of colour, maybe like dressed in a certain way or whatever? Why is your first instinct trouble?
100%. Like, I mean? Even when you get pulled over, like, have you been pulled over before? Like,
I haven't personally.
Oh yeah, I've been pulled over literally a couple times. I was by Bicester, leaving Bicester. I was with like 4 of my friends, 4 black guys. And obviously that neighbourhood, near that neighbourhood, is kind of posh-ish. Obviously I was driving a nice-ish car at the time or whatever, and we got pulled over, I remember. And like, they were just like, what are you guys doing here? And I was like, well, what do you mean, what am I doing here? Like, obviously we parked up, we're just chilling. We're like, what? We just came from Bicester, sort of thing. Like, and they searched my car. I was like, they literally did no reason, searched my car, searched the boots. Like, they opened things in my car that I've never even seen that could be opened. You get me? Like, started searching it up, and I was just like, what? Like,
to be fair, hold that. I haven't been pulled over directly, but it actually fits this topic. To be fair, I was with my ex-girlfriend at the time, who was white, and we were driving to a bar in London, and there was like a police van that was behind me, and it was probably about a 25-minute journey, and obviously because like I know like my way around London, I know like all the shortcuts, the back routes and stuff, so this van was behind me like pretty much all of the way, and because I'm taking like the back roads and stuff to cut out traffic, that's when I'm noticing that, hold on, like the chances are like this van isn't like taking its normal route, like it's obviously like following me for some sort of reason. And we literally got like round the corner from where the bar was, and there was a parking space that I wanted to get into, and the police van was still behind me, and but the parking space I wanted to get into had cones, so it was like someone had put cones there obviously to save the space for them. And but I said to my ex at the time, I said, oh, like, do you want to like get out the car, move the cones, and I can reverse in? As soon as she got out the car, van overtook me, and sped off. And I'm thinking what were you expecting?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
If it wasn't for her getting out, and the only way I can see it is they've seen a young white woman get out of the car and they thought, okay, there's no threat.
Yeah.
Let's just go about our day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, what altercation would I have got into if that didn't happen? Do you know what I mean? And that's you don't really want to be. It's not nice. Do you know what I mean? Like constantly being judged in a negative manner. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So.
No, yeah, 100%. Like the fact that like I don't know, like being black, and especially when you're young as well, like you already have like eyes on you, sort of thing. Like if I'm in the shop and like I got a hat on, a beanie on, and I'm just seeing like the security guard like eyeing me up, like why are you eyeing me up? I'm literally just in the shop. I'm gonna pay for my stuff. I'm not gonna go run out.
And you know what I found talking about that? You know, like going on to the topic of like having like the narrative of like trouble. You know what I mean? Having that's the first thing that comes to mind when like you cross paths with someone and they're like, they may be like intimidated. I felt like growing up, in football as well actually, coming across as making sure that I'm being over polite to kind of make them feel comfortable in my presence. Do you know what I mean? So it's like to kind of give them the feeling of, alright then cool, they're not trouble. Like they're actually fine to talk to, kind of thing. Where it shouldn't really be. It shouldn't really be like that. I should feel comfortable just to be myself. Not to say that I'm not being myself, because obviously I'm a nice guy. Like, I'm not rude. I've been raised with manners. But to overdo it to make people feel comfortable in your company, I feel like I kind of adopted that growing up as a technique to kind of make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know if you've had the same.
Nah, not really, but like it shouldn't be a case where like people feel uncomfortable to even speak about this sort of thing. Like obviously like we were talking about earlier, like obviously some people not feeling comfortable to speak about this because of some repercussions that might lead to it happening in terms of their own career and that. And obviously that specifically, that shouldn't be the case, sort of thing. You should feel free to speak about your experiences, whatever, without repercussions happening, which it's just blown my mind really, like how that can even
in football, like the whole bad attitude thing. That's kind of been like a big thing for me, like coming through the system and whatnot. Like you've always got that fear as a young black player to not give off that image or aura of like, oh, he's got a bad attitude. Because it can be anything. You could have like I don't know, you could be having a bad day, and I don't know, you might have a bad session, for example. You might not be yourself, personality-wise that day, and it's just like it can be deemed as, oh, there he is, like he's showing it, like he's got a bad attitude.
It's like they're waiting for it.
I've been waiting for that to come out now. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like it's like you can be you're like constantly being monitored. You know what I mean? And if you have that one bad day, it's like, we've seen it. Like he's got it as well. You know what I mean?
It always feels like eyes are on you, innit? And like people are waiting for like a chance to like, do you get me? Like there it is, like he said, like, and it's just everything just feels heightened a lot.
We play a sport where, you know, you should be judged purely on what you're doing on the pitch. You know what I mean? Like, it's a performance-based sport. So if you have a bad game, that's fine. You've got pundits and commentators and stuff that, you know, it's their job to highlight those kind of things. But to hear that there's a bias on, you know, a player, I don't know, a white player gives the ball away once, 5 times in a game, and nothing's said, and then a black player gives the ball away once, potentially.
He's sloppy.
And he's getting slaughtered.
And it's just like
it's not really. Obviously, that's just a scenario that I'm making up. But why?
Yeah,
I mean, that just brings more questions to me. Like why? Like what? What is it that would make someone who's commentating on a game feel that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's with like when players are getting described for like, let's say like it's rare that you hear someone say about a black player, oh, he's technically gifted.
Yeah.
Like you normally hear that about the white players sort of thing.
What happened? There was something that happened. I think it was a ex-coach or something that got done for it. I saw a story about it, and he described
big black,
when, BBQs,
big black and quick, innit? Yeah, like.
And it's like that was their terminology used for scouting players for their club, and it's like that's just like I just don't get it.
No, I don't get it.
That just fries my mind.